promised, today is Monday and construction begins. I've done some drawings that are horrible, but it doesn't matter because it makes sense to me, and I'll do my best to explain them. I spent quite a while trying to find the best design for how to put the milk jugs together and make in the most aerodynamic or hydrodynamic whatever design, and this is what I came up with. And I came up with a bunch that were too long and then too wide, and so I decided to go up instead of out and instead of long. So I'm doing 2 stacks, and this is how they'll be vertical like this. And like I said, I need at least 36 gallons of water displaced to hold me out of the water. So I've decided to do 2 floats in the front and 2 in the back, but the 2 in the back are going to be double the size the ones are in the front. So there'll be 12 milk jugs on each side in the back and 6 on each side in the front, making 36. And I think it'll work that way because all your weight is on the back of the bike. So I'm hoping that 2/3 and 1/3 will be enough to displace my weight and hold me up. Anyway, this is how I decided to do it. So I'm doing 2 rows stacked vertically of them, and they're going to be staggered a little bit. So 1 row's here, and then 1 row starts over here. So this drawing is from the side, and if you were to look at it from the side, they're going to be staggered. So excuse my poor drawing, but they're going to be like this. This being the front. So the water ideally will be like right here, and it'll hit where it's angled like that and push the water down and make it hydrodynamic a little bit that way. So that's from the side. This is from the top, so if you look at it from the top, they'd be like this. Again, the caps are pointing backwards. These are the front, the caps are the back. So they'll be staggered like that. If you look at it from the side, they'll be staggered like this. And then, so the front 2 pontoons will only be 1 row, 2 tiers, but only 1 row, because I only need 6 on the front ones. On the back, they'll be double stacked, so there'll be 2 rows and 2 tiers, giving me 12, giving me 6 in the front. So they'll be like this, and they'll be like this. That's the best design I could come up with. It kind of looks like a tank tread. But with how bulky a milk jug is, it's hard for me to come up with any other design. So the blue lines are all the milk jugs. The red lines are going to be a plywood frame that I'm going to make. Milk jugs are different in size, different in design, they're just not consistent enough for me to make actual floats out of them. Nor do I think that they're strong enough for me to put all my weight on. So I'm going to build some plywood frames. All the red is plywood, and I'll make a video about making those. So that'll be the rough shape of it. I'll make all these rounded things, and I'll put 1 frame on each side, and then to shore it up, I'm going to put a bunch of supports on the side and on the top to hold it all together and everything. So then I have a strong base to be able to put the bars that I'm going to be using to attach these floats to my bike. I know that my drawing skills suck, but this is what it's gonna roughly look like this. I'm sure I'll probably add more in here to make it even stronger, just because there's going to be a lot of weight on these. And I realized that plywood is not waterproof, so I'm actually going to glue all the milk jugs together how I want them, then build the frames, put the frames together, attach the frames to all the milk jugs. Then once I have everything solid, I'm actually going to wrap all of this in shrink wrap. I could not think of another thing that would be tight enough and that would, fit this weird design as well as shrink wrap will. So that's just it's like kitchen saran wrap, but it's like much heavier duty, and it stretches when you pull it, and it sticks to itself. It's super strong, and I think it'll do great for putting this all together and for deflecting the water and keeping the water going where I want it to. So anyway, that's the idea. Milk jugs covered in a plywood frame, covered in shrink wrap. Those are going to be my floats. Let's get to it. Right now I'm just going to make a very simple jig to help me line up all the milk jugs while I'm gluing them together, so I don't have to guess where they go. I'll be able to push them up. I'm essentially going to build a wall that I can just push them up against so I know that they're all in a straight line. You'll see when it's done. I'm going to make one of the front pontoons first, so all I need is 6 milk jugs, which I have right here. And I've blown them all up. And I've already taken a hot glue gun and sealed around the cap so it's sealed and they won't come off. And then a few of these had some cracks in them, so I hot glued those back together as well. So now they're all sealed up and good to go. The reason that I made this is to help me square them up, so to get them all in a straight line. And this is super primitive and simple. All it is a piece of MDF with some triangles behind it to hold it square, hold it straight up and down. And what I'll do is I'll just put some glue on the cap of one and butt them up against the wall so they're tight to the bottom and tight to the wall. Have the glue on there and push them together real quick, just like that. And so that should keep them straight, should keep them oriented the same way. And one of the reasons that I need to do that is because this one, they're all shaped differently. It probably doesn't make any difference, but like these ones have a cutout in them, like an indentation, and these ones don't. And that's the case, like half of them are one way and half of them are the other way. Probably doesn't really matter to me. But one of the reasons why I'm doing that plywood frame on all of these is because of the inconsistencies in these. They're all shaped different and they all have a different amount of air in them, and anyway, so that's the process. Well, my wall worked perfectly, and I think as best I could, they're straight. As you can see, they're straight, they're flat, they're all oriented just right, I think. So, as I mentioned before, this is the front, this is the back. So this way when it's going through water, it'll have that angled piece here, so it'll shed all the water down, and it should work pretty well. I have to do this 5 more times, and I'll have these all built tonight, and then tomorrow I'll begin I'll begin working on the plywood frames and all those parts, and I'll get all those cut and everything. So check back in tomorrow to see that. Tonight I glue milk jugs.